Hello and welcome to the latest Lukozer retro game review video. For this one, it's something a little bit different and we are going way back. Shall start a new game. This is Valhalla, which was published by Legend in 1983, so this is very early in the Commodore 64's lifetime. What makes this different is that this is essentially a text-based game. Now, as the title suggests, this is set in the realm of the Norse gods. It's set mostly in Asgard and Midgard, and if you die for whatever reason, you are then taken to Niflheim, although in this game it does call it Hell. And yeah, it's played the old school adventure way of typing your various instructions. Now, one thing you do an awful lot in this game is die, particularly of starvation. So you need to stock up on things like food and drink. And at the start of the game there is often quite a lot of food and wine laying around. Now, as you can see, you are not the only person in this particular area. Other people turn up or leave, whether they are other gods, other mortals, such as yourself, dragons, wolves, ravens, snakes, and giants. They're all here. All of the names that you know from Norse mythology are in this, and probably a hell of a lot that you don't know. So the idea of the game is that you are trapped in the realm of the Norse gods. You're trapped in Asgard and Midgard and everywhere else, and you need to get away. And the way to do it is to find these 6 magical items. Now, those 6 items are a magical sword, magical axe, magical shield, magical helmet, magical ring, and a magical key. They've all got specific names, but I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. But once you have all of those, you can then escape the realm. Now, all of the other characters, they all set around doing their own thing, and how they interact with you depends on how you interact with them. If you get on their good side, then they will help you out. Get on their bad side and they're more likely going to try and kill you. It does help if you know a little bit about the subject matter. It helps if you know something of Norse mythology, which thankfully for me I do. Norse mythology is something that I've been interested in for quite some time. So I know, for example, that Skadi, who is the dragon that's just left there, I don't know why they made Skadi a dragon, because in Norse mythology Skadi is actually a goddess. I think she is the goddess of the winter. Don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly sure that's what she's all about. Now, Hel, who is the one who has just left, is obviously a goddess of the underworld. Drudge, who's just turned up, he's one of the giants, as you can tell from the sheer size of him. Anyway, let's get moving, because there's no point staying in one area. The actual playing area is immense. I've never got close to discovering everything. even though I have played this game quite a bit. Now I'll take the sword that's on the ground. Lear, I think, is going to bugger off. Lear is a bit of a nobody. Balder there, they spelt his name wrong. His name should be B-A-L-D-R. Some people will spell it B-A-L-D-U-R. If that sounds familiar to you because of things like Baldur's Gate, well, yeah, that is where they got it from, or at least the name. Anyway, so I now have a sword. It is just a regular one. It's not one, the magic one, but at least I am now able to attack or defend myself if anybody does attack me. I don't tend to do an awful lot of attacking. Let's see if we can go north, which will take us into that castle there. I believe this is Thor's Hall, yes. Now that chest, you need the key to open it. So, yeah, I don't rate my chances of, well, I know I'm not going to be able to. So there's only one way to go, and that's back south again. So, I say there is a hell of a lot in the game so far as the locations, the depth of the storyline, the amount you need to do. But like so many of the early text adventure games, it is limited by its vocabulary. It can only understand a certain number of instructions. Indeed, as far as its actual commands, it only understands 35, and that includes things like save game, load game, print screen, and you know, all that sort of stuff. So it's not like that 35 only can, you know, is everything while playing the game. It's also actual system commands. Let's take the wine again. For whatever reason, your character gets weak and needs food and stroke or drink very quickly. You don't have to take all of the food or wine that's on the floor. If you don't have any, and the snake is now attacking me. There we go. So snake was not too much of a problem. But yes, if you don't have any, you know, food or wine, but there is some in the area, then you'll just take it off the floor and either eat it or drink it. So, you know, it's not necessarily the end of the world if you can't get to, you know, if you haven't got any food or drink on you. Okay, let's. I don't think Mistra is going to survive attacking Loki, but we'll see how things go. Yeah, that's what I thought. Now, the thing about this game is that to watch it is pretty boring. It's not a game. There we go. So getting weak, need to eat or drink. Yeah, it's as far as watching it, this game is pretty boring. It's not something that you're really going to want to watch too much of. That's why I'm going to keep this video as short as I can anyway. But to play it, it is utterly absorbing, I find. Let's cut to the chase. As far as the audio goes, it's pathetic because the vast majority of it is played in silence. What sounds there are as basic as they get. Graphically, right, it's nothing remarkable. The graphics are of the sort of quality that you might expect from you know, the old CFAX teletext or something like that. You know, but they are not great. But then this was 1983, and yet despite that, I think the graphics actually, you know, serve the game quite well. It's you know, for its time, there is quite a degree of detail on things like the castle and, you know, everything else. The only problem, let's see if we can actually move somewhere. The only problem is that every time you, okay, let's try southeast then. Looks like Thor has just pissed off Loki. I'm going to predict that this will be a draw. Okay, well that I certainly wasn't expecting. There we go. I completely lost the thread of what I was saying. Anyway, yeah, so graphically, yeah, as you can see, the problem is it has to draw all of the background location every time you go somewhere new. Okay, I was wondering how long it was going to take before it was actually going to show me who's here. No, let's try and we can actually head somewhere else. So anyway, so that's sound and graphics dealt with. There's a key there. I shall take that. That will be more than handy for opening those chests that I will need. A lot of the time, the chests, I don't think Kier is going to do well here. I think he might regret that. Okay. That's not what I was expecting. Anyway, let's see if we can head back to that chest that... it's not here, but I think it's northwest from here. So anyway, right, so covered graphics, covered audio. Now the gameplay, with a game like this, it's all about the strength of the storyline. And the storyline is, well, I find it quite compelling, but that's because I am a fan, I say, of, or well, not a fan, it's not really the right way of describing it, but I have quite an interest in Norse mythology. If you don't, then you're probably not going to find a great deal in this game to interest you. So we've unlocked the chest, we better eat food. I will also drink some of the wine I have, and then I'll take the food that's on the floor. There you go. Now, this is where we get to the problem with what's the limitation of... what did he just do? There was a ring in the chest, and Rankle's just taken it, the cunt. Well, I'm not going to survive this one. I think Rankle's a... oh, I defeated him. Okay, well in that case, let's attack Boogie for being the cunt who suggested it. Mind you, know my luck, this little cunt will probably kill me now. Oh, no. So anyway, so yeah, the story I find absolutely compelling, and it is extremely absorbing. There were several occasions in, you know, the early 80s when I was playing this game that, yeah, I would start playing it and the next thing I know 5 hours had passed and I hadn't done fuck all else all day. So if you're a fan of, you know, the old school text adventures and you hadn't played this before, I don't think there'd be a huge number of Commodore 64 players who would have this. It was much more successful on the Spectrum. The Commodore 64 version isn't quite so well known. So there's a good possibility that even if you are a big fan of adventure games, and particularly the old school text adventure games, that you may have missed this if you had the Commodore 64. So yeah, if that is, you know, if adventure games, text adventure games are your thing, and particularly if you have an interest in Norse mythology, this is absolutely up your street. But what I would recommend is that, fucking hell, okay, well I've got no chance against hell. Yeah. Now, when you're killed, that is not game over, but you do lose a lot of your inventory. That's now scattered all over the place, so you keep some items. There's a ring here, I'll take that. I doubt it's the real, you know, the magical one I need, but... Alright, let's get out of here, because I don't really want to be in that same area with two giants. So anyway, yeah, so when you die, or rather when you are killed, you simply return in Niflheim, which, say, this game refers to it as hell, but yeah, it should be called Niflheim if it's you know, going to be accurate. I bet that cunt takes the axe, which I want. Okay, well I've got the key. Now let's take the risk, drop the sword, take axe. Now the thing is, if I drop the sword with two fucking giants in the area, they could have attacked me, but thankfully they didn't. Right, let's fuck off out of here. Well, that's handy. Two giants are attacking each other. Mind you, one is a fire giant and one is a mountain giant. They don't get along. That was my impression of a giant for you. So, what do I score it? I say, I find the game absolutely compelling thanks to the storyline and the subject matter. And even though it does have a limited vocabulary, as I say, it only understands 35 commands, it's still a great adventure game. I've thought it, okay, let's see if I can get that ring there. I've always thought it was a great adventure game right from the get-go. From the moment I first played it in '83, I still think it is now. See if we can unlock that chest. Yes. Now the trouble is, can I actually look in it? Yeah, that's right. You type in look and it takes it as the command lock. Anyway, I think some food came out of it, which is in front of me. No, it isn't. Let's keep... Nidhogg is attacking Drudge. Well, the Nidhogg is one of the most powerful creatures in, yeah, let's say in Norse mythology. No matter how strong a giant drudge was, he was never going to kill the Nidhogg. It would be. Ah, fucking hell. Come on, let me go somewhere. Okay, well, I'm about to be attacked by the wolf, Gastro. Because I'm weak, he's probably going to kill me. Yep. Cunt. So anyway, yeah, getting back once again. This is Hell's Hall. Once again in trying to trying to do the score. I would give this 8 out of 10. It's, you know, once you realise what you're doing, there are plenty of people who have downloaded this game for the emulator, been playing it, and just have had no idea what they're doing. I'll take that, thank you very much. So yeah, a lot of people just spend their time wandering around, throwing stuff at people, which you can do, and attacking everybody they encounter. Let's see, if I throw Jewel at Glut, and because I've done that, he'll then turn around and attack me. There we go. So yeah, so that's something that a lot of other people do. They just wander around doing all that. Oh, that's handy. Okay, let's pick up the jewel again. Providing Bug or Boogie don't take it. So yeah, I would certainly say it's worth getting, but I would also say that it's worth finding out about the story, checking out particularly what commands it can understand. That will help a long way. Oh, what a surprise. That was a giant versus a dwarf. But yeah, you know, find out what commands it can understand, what you're meant to be doing, and then you'll enjoy the game far more. But just downloading it and doing not much else means that you could spend a lot of your time just wandering around and ultimately doing fuck all and not actually making any progress in the game. So yeah, I give this 8 out of 10. I think it's great. In fact, I'll give it 8.5 out of 10. And yeah, I highly recommend it. So that is Valhalla. I say not an interesting video because text adventure games never make interesting videos. So I think this could be a bit of a one-off. I can't see me doing too many more of such videos for the same reason. It's just not very interesting to watch. But this is a particularly good game, which I highly recommend. So there you go, Valhalla for Commodore 64, 8.5 out of 10. I think it's great. So that brings this video to an end, and we shall see you at the next one.